Okay, Kenny. So we've been having like this possum problem lately.
Go on.
So we had this little possum and we had this big daddy possum or mommy possum. I don't really care which because they're fucking ugly rat marsupial things. Anyway, we leave the back door open so that the two stray cats we've sort of adopted can kind of go in and out. We have this little magnetic screen door they can like flop through or whatever. But the thing is, the little possum figured it out that he could come in there too. So he'd come in and eat food, and then we would chase him away. He would like hide in a crawl space behind our dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
So we couldn't get to him,
Nice.
little bastard. So the other morning I woke up and he was on the stove. Oh, excuse me. Let me take it back. In that, like, the cats that we have, by the way, eat and kill just about everything.
Nice.
Like they destroy things. I've seen them straight up eat birds, dragonflies, whatever. They love it. That's how they survive, as well as the food we give them. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They're savages. They're feral. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to tell the cats like kill the possums, and they're cats. They're not listening to us.
Of course.
And so we ended up like the other night. My uncle is looking out the back door, and he sees the cat wants to light in. Oh, okay. He wakes up and he goes over and goes to let the cat in, and he turns the light on before opening the door. And sure enough, like the cat's chilling there, and sitting next to the cat is the little baby possum. Like they're bros. Like the cat's like, don't worry about me. This is my bro Larry. He's just gonna hang out for a while. Like he's just waiting to get let in. So we sure.
Nice.
The other morning I woke up and the damn little possum's on the stove. So I chased him across the stove and countertop to and I quartered him on this like wire shelf we have, and I held out this like box, and he jumped into it, trying to escape me. So I captured him. So Mark released him into the wild.
Nice.
And then on Friday night, I'm sitting here playing games. It's late, and I heard like this in the backyard, in the living room, and I open the door, and I see it's the big ass possum, and he's got his whole body in a chip bag.
Nice.
A whole body in a chip bag. So I chased that one around, and finally I'm able to corner it in my bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I learned, that apparently possums shit themselves when they're scared.
Nice. Hey, just like me.
So I'm just like, I managed to get him in a box, but now my bathroom is covered in like the gnarliest possum shit.
Nice.
And we released him far away as well. But so that's what I've learned, guys. One, cats are useless.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I could have told you that.
And two, possums shit themselves when they're frightened.
Well, you know what this means now, don't you?
What's that?
It means you have to find where that possum lives and shit all over his bathroom. Hey, what's up, friendos? It's your boy Kenny and your other boy Jeff, and you're tuned in for another episode of A Better Podcast with Kenny and Jeff.
That was the big.
I didn't say it was going to be big. It's just
that's the brand new.
No, I'm trying to find a brand new intro.
You're trying to find voice, Kenny.
I'm trying to find.
Because that wasn't it.
I'm tweaking. I'm trying to find a general intro for the show that we can use every time. So I'm just gonna be trying different things until we find one that works.
Try anything else but that.
You know what? I'm just gonna use that one from now on because F you. Guy.
F you. How you been, buddy?
I'm doing okay. having ups and downs, but things are going okay right now.
Awesome.
Word. I'm very excited because I have an interview tomorrow with Merchants Auto, which, if you're from the New Hampshire or have been here, is I think the largest dealership in ye old state of New Hampshire.
Oh.
I'll be doing backroom admin stuff if I get the jorb.
In the back room.
I'll be in the back room.
Where you belong.
Where you can get the good stuff. I'll be in the back room. But yes, I'm very excited. Hopefully it'll go well and I'll get that job and I can leave my nightmare of a company.
Yay!
So, very stoked. Very stoked. how are you doing, Guy?
Well, I'm all right. I did have this weird giant abscess on my gums, which is now all cleared up,
Oh yes, I believe you
which
had
was
texted
gross.
me about that.
Which was gross. I love how part of this podcast apparently regularly is my tooth problems.
We can have a Jeff's tooth segment for.
Long story short, the tooth I got that gross root canal on has to go. Now it's cracked on the side apparently, and I have to get that removed next Friday. So yay!
Well, I hope that goes well.
Yeah, me too.
I can imagine.
But other than that, everything's fine.
everything's hunky dory otherwise.
Yeah, everything's hunky dory otherwise.
Bueno. Well, since we've got a lot to talk about in this episode, I thought we would jump right in. But I wanted to start on a bit of a lighthearted note, since most of the show isn't.
Okay.
And I found this thing while surfing the Facebook, and I thought we should take part in this. Something one of my friends follows posted an image, and it says, "Name your vagina by using the name of the last movie you watched." So, Jeff, based on that criteria, what would the name of your vagina be?
I don't want to say it.
Say it!
Say it! I guess the last movie I watched all the way through.
Or either one, all the way through, or just the last one you saw. Oh yeah, no, I'll go with the last one you saw all the way through.
Now You See Me Too.
Nice. Mine would be American Psycho. So
there's that.
Which I'm really glad I watched that, because the movie before that was Deadpool. I don't necessarily think my vagina wants to be called that.
Oh, our fictional vaginas. Oh well, vaginas are tough. They can really take a pounding, so they should be able to handle this.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just went there.
Ah, bueno. All right. So now that we've enticed the audience with that, let's get into some nonsense, shall we?
Absolutely.
All right. So as we all know, it's time for the weekly Armageddon update. All right, so a lot of shit has been happening apparently.
Some shit's going down.
Some things is occurring.
Once again, there's just too much to talk about. That's so much going on.
That's I think the biggest problem. Well, one of the biggest problems I have with the Trump administration is there's just so much news that you can't talk about all of it. There's so much shit happening, and I don't know. And part of me wonders if Trump is trying to use this to distract people from things like Russia, but at the same time, I don't think he's smart enough to figure that out. Is the problem?
But it's just too damn it happens every time. It's just so much so that it's impossible for it to be a coincidence.
I mean, I will say, likely to some degree, it is him doing stuff to distract, but at the same time, I can't think he's this calculating of a human being with how stupid he is. So, but I feel like the attempt to distract is probably his idea, but with what he's distracting with, he's kind of making that up as he goes.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's definitely doing that. No, he has zero plan as to how he's doing it.
He just knows he needs to distract. He has to do it.
Yeah, he gets to change the narrative.
Yeah,
always change the narrative.
Which he's great at that, apparently.
Oh.
But which bullshit would you like to start with, Jeff?
Well, we have some fun bullshit of people resisting, but we also have the scary bullshit. So let's talk about the scary bullshit first.
Yeah, let's end this. Let's try to end this segment on a quasi uplifting note.
Yeah, let's do it.
Since we never do otherwise.
So Trump went to speak to the UN the other day, and everything was great. His speech was great. Everyone, no one had any problem with what he said, and everything was just fine.
Speak is a very strong term. He kind of like verbal diarrheaed at them.
Yeah, he basically just gave one of his classic campaign speeches to the United Nations, which, by the way, they don't they're not like your voters, dude. The people in the United Nations are serious diplomats who have no time for your bullshit.
Yeah, they could not give a fuck less about what you're mad about, Trump, until you do something that affects them, like, coerce North Korea into nuclear war.
So, basically, to sum it up, Trump went in front of the United Nations, and he threatened to completely destroy North Korea with nuclear weapons. So that happened. Which I'm actually surprised that it took this long to do. This is something I always kind of expected he would do.
I knew he would do it. I honestly didn't think he would do it now, because I figured, not to be too punny, but it would be his trump card if things with Russia got too close, so he'd use it as a distraction. But I didn't think he'd use it now. I thought he'd use it a little later in his presidency.
I mean, people are telling him that North Korea is doing all this stuff, and so we put a bunch of economic sanctions on him, which the Chinese keep ignoring anyway, so whatever. Yeah. But still, it's fine.
Plus, the sanctions don't really do much, because they only really affect the citizens of North Korea, because the regime's still going to, be the same. They're still going to spend the same amount of money on the stuff they spend. They're just not going to give as much to the citizenry of the country.
What he should have done, and what any president would have done, what he should have done, what any good president would have done, was go to the United Nations and use that opportunity to talk about what's happening in North Korea, much like we did during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and listen, this can't go on. What's happening here? So, solutions are necessary, and part of the problem is China is ignoring the sanctions. And still trading with North Korea, although China as a government is saying they're not. But we see their ships going back and forth, all the time. So he should have called out China with support of the delegation of the United Nations, and listen, we're trying to stop a madman from creating a nuclear bomb. You're not helping, but Trump is also a bad man. So
yes. Man, can you imagine Trump were president during the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Oh God, no! We'd be dead.
I can't fathom how that would have gone. Well, I know what the end result would be, but leading up to that, I don't know what it would have been like. And it's a fucking frightening thought. But yeah, he has to realize, when you're talking to people like or groups like the United Nations, it's not a big dick swinging contest. They're not going to be wowed by your big tough words. They like diplomacy. They want diplomatic action. They want to hear that you understand the severity of the situation, and don't necessarily think that nuclear might is your only option, or even an option that you would think of. They want diplomacy. They want this to be talked out.
So that happened. Kim Jong-un, great leader, called Trump in a written first person statement,
which is, by the way, very, very rare for him to do.
Very rare,
which means Trump fucked up real bad.
They when they showed it on national TV in North Korea, when they showed it and broadcast it, it wasn't his voice recorded. It was a spokesperson reading his statement, but his statement was in the first person.
Yes.
So that's huge for North Korea. Mr. Kim called Mr. Trump a mentally deranged U.S. dotard who had denied the existence and insulted me and my country in front of the eyes of the world. And he said he would take the highest level of hardline countermeasure in history. Now, the real problem is that the bombastic speech and rhetoric from this guy in his haircut, Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, his fucking haircut is a nightmare to look at.
It's out of control. Anyway, so they that kind of stuff happens from him all the time. We expect that. That's how he rallies his people.
Oh yeah.
And for decades they've been selling and convincing the North Korean people that the evil Satan that is the U.S. government. And now Donald Trump has actually given him a reason to say it. Before it was just all bullshit and they have to make stuff up. Now they can actually point to this orange motherfucker and be see, and so not only will the people not only will likely the people of North Korea rally around this, but they'll also be okay with maybe tightening their belt even further in order to create a nuclear bomb to fight the American devils.
Well, they have said that they're testing a hydrogen bomb.
Yes, that's right. They also threatened to release to actually blow up a hydrogen bomb over the Pacific Ocean. This would be like the first one since it has been 37 years since any nation tested a nuclear weapon in the planet's atmosphere. So there's that.
But I will say, and I never thought I would say this about any leader of North Korea, for that matter. In regards to the written statement he released, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Kim Jong, just call it like it is.
just call him a spade a spade.
Kim Jae-un, baby.
Yeah, I don't. I want to see how this develops, just from pure international curiosity standpoint. But I'm really fucking terrified of where it's going to go.
Oh yeah, this is getting. I mean, I've been scared of North Korea for years, but it's getting worse.
I wasn't. I hadn't really ever been scared of them as really at all until this one, just because like they have a lot of bluster that they throw out, but they've never really been in a position, I feel like, where they feel like they can attack the United States, even though they keep saying they're going to, and they have their weapons that'll reach us and so on and so forth. I never felt like they were ever actually going to do anything. I'm not so sure about that anymore.
It's just it's great.
Yeah, it's just fucking excited.
Woo!
Yeah, that's okay, we're all gonna die.
All gonna die.
But on that note, let's move on to lighter pieces of terrible international news, or I guess technically national news in this capacity.
This is national news.
I'm sure there are international sports teams that think this way, but yeah, this is all about the way that our sports teams have responded to President Trump's most recent antics. He's an idiot.
We should probably start from the beginning, where he was talking about he was delivering a speech in Alabama, and then he went off on one of his random tangents, and he said about like the football players who were or just sports like athletes, not like taking a knee during the national anthem, a la Colin Kaepernick. And he said just to get that son of a bitch off the field or to fire that son of a bitch. He called him a son of a bitch.
Which, not only is that terrible, that's illegal for him to do because he is using his political position to influence a company to make a decision about their employees. That's a crime.
That's great. Anyway, Teresa Kaepernick, Colin Kaepernick's mom, said on Twitter, "Guess that makes me a proud bitch." So, Z-snap all around to her. Then Donald Trump also, because the Warriors once again are talking about how they're not going to visit Trump in the White House, like as tradition would dictate, after they won the championship. So Donald tweeted this. That would be yesterday at 5:45 a.m. yesterday. Because anyway, he goes, "Going to the White House considered a great honor for a championship team. Stephen Curry is hesitating, therefore invitation is withdrawn." First off, I'd like to say that Donald. Steph knows it's a great honor because he's already been there. Whoop, Dub Nation. Whoop.
Steph Curry actually got to the White House before you did, Trump.
Oh! Dub Nation.
and he didn't have to cheat to get there.
Oh!
I would drop my mic, but I don't want to damage my keyboard.
Just like tap the mic, go dunk. There it is. That sounded so good. You should do that all the time.
Every time we make a good point, we should tap the mic.
Boom. So Steph Curry, his response from the New York Times. Steph Curry, the Golden State Warriors, said he awoke Saturday morning to about 20 text messages from friends and family who were expressing their support for him.
Nice, very nice.
He said about the tweet, surreal.
That's a very kind way to put it.
Yes. I don't know why he feels the need to target certain individuals rather than others.
Because you're black.
Curry, two-time NBA Most Valuable Player, said at a news conference after the team's first practice of the season. I have an idea of why, but it's kind of beneath the leader of the country to go that route. It's not what leaders do. Steph Curry being infinitely more classy than Donald Trump. I mean, the bar is low. The bar is really, really low. But
the bar is under the dirt. We've hit below. We're sub topsoil at this point. That's how low the bar is.
Coach Kerr says, I think we would, in normal times, easily be able to set aside political views and go visit and have a great time. But these are not ordinary times. Probably the most divisive times in my life, I guess, since Vietnam when I was just a kid. He added, the president made it really, really difficult for us to honor that institution.
Yeah.
Ah.
And I mean, think about it. Like, and every time the sports team has gone to see the president, you know, there's at least one person on that team. Obviously more, but in this example, at least one person on the team who has very severe disagreements with the president politically. Those people exist. But every time they're like, no, you know what? I'm going to set these aside because I'm meeting the president, and this is not the time to throw those differences out there. That's how bad Trump is. You can't even do that with this person.
I mean, I guess if I was Steph Curry, what I would probably want to say is listen, I don't want to go up there and meet this guy because I have a hard time explaining to my daughter why I was up there shaking hands with a white supremacist. Like,
exactly.
How it's hard to be a dad, like a good dad, and explain that to your kids.
Exactly. Like you can't. There's just some things you can't dismiss and you can't explain away, and that's one of them. Although, what I feel Steph Curry should do is he should still go, but he should have who's the tallest player on the team? I don't know.
Zaza Pachulia?
Yes. Have Zaza when he's shaking his hand when Steph is shaking hands with Trump. Have Zaza stand up behind him with a poop and backboard, and then have Curry dunk on him while he's holding Trump's hand.
Oh! Posterize.
Can you imagine how fucking mad Trump would get if that happened?
Oh, I'd be so happy though. Oh my god, they should totally do it.
Oh my god, it'd be fucking amazing.
Draymond would do it.
oh no, have Draymond do it.
Draymond would do it in a heartbeat.
And then just have him flex at the end like he does.
Oh, Dub Nation.
Oh my god.
Go Dubs.
Oh man. Oh, now I'm kind of bummed they're not going. I mean, I'm really happy they're not going. But just for that, I wish they were going.
Well, the Warriors. Let me see if I can find it. The Warriors team, they released a statement saying that we will visit DC to celebrate equality, diversity, and inclusion, but they will not. We decided that we'll constructively use our trip to Michigan February. They're not going to the White House. They're still going to DC, but they're not going to the White House.
Which is good. I still think they should go to DC, but yeah, just don't go to the White House. I think what they're doing is the best way to approach what's going on. So I'm very pleased with them because they're goddamn classy.
No, they're doing it right, and speaking of other folks that are doing it right, one other thing about this, Coach Kerr also left some Z snaps. He goes so about the invitation being withdrawn. Kerr put it, he was going to break up with us before we could break up with him.
Oh man! So you've seen that meme where like the guy's like looking at the camera and like pointing at his temple, and it's supposed to be like, you can't do this thing if that thing wasn't going to happen anyway, kind of thing. Have you seen that meme? Yeah. There was one that someone put out about the Warriors saying, you can't withdraw an invitation if you weren't going to go anyway.
Yeah, it's like, we already said we were going to go. We said after we won, bro.
Yeah, like, this is, how many, they won in, what was the finals, June? I think it was June?
Yeah.
Yeah, they said, I think a couple weeks after they won, they weren't going to go.
Yeah.
So this is I mean, this isn't really technically new news.
Yeah, no, it's over, dude.
Yeah, but like, still, the fact that Trump's like, well, they can't fucking come. I'm not gonna break up with you. Or no, it's like, I'm not gonna. You can't quit. I'm gonna fire you.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this situation is. Trump is trying to make the situation.
Curry goes, I've played golf with President Obama. I'm pretty sure I won't get a tea time during this regime.
Oh, you know what they should have done if they didn't go to DC? They should have gone to visit Obama.
Yeah, they should
Just go hang out at Obama's house. I guarantee you Obama would be fine with it.
Obama shoots a hooves with him in a heartbeat.
Hell yeah.
He'd lose, but he'd be there.
That'd be a great team in NBA Jam. Curry and Obama.
So anyway, more awesome things and some less awesome things happening because of the fallout over the Alabama speech and like all the stuff against Curry and all that shit. Today is NFL Football Sunday, man.
Woo, woo.
And here's what's been happening around the league in response to this. Let's see here. The Seahawks did not participate in the national anthem before their game against the Titans.
Good.
Players released this statement. As a team, we have decided we will not participate in the national anthem. We will not stand for the injustice that has plagued people of color in this country. Out of love for our country and in honor of the sacrifices made on our behalf, we unite to oppose those who would deny our most basic freedoms. We remain committed to continuing to work towards equality and justice for all. So no players on either sideline were there for the national anthem for the Seahawks-Titans game.
Nice.
The Titans decided to remain in the locker room ahead of their game with the Seahawks.
Oh, wow.
So they were like already... the players jointly decided this was the best course of action. Our commitment to the military and our community is resolute, and the absence of our team for the national anthem shouldn't be misconstrued as unpatriotic.
And that's the thing I hate the most about the way these protests are construed, is that they're all... People keep twisting them to some kind of anti-military presentation.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not what it is. It's not at all what it is. And I understand why they twist it that way. But it's really infuriating to hear people turn the protest against the national anthem. I'm not going to say against the national anthem, but these protests with the national anthem aren't designed to be some kind of anti-military, anti-troop presentation. They're protesting injustices in the country, and I mean, especially if you listen to the extended version of the national anthem, some pretty heinous shit is in there, talking about slavery and things like that.
Yeah.
So no, and I hate that these protests have been demonized in a way that is not at all what they're intended to be. And I mean, overall, I really hate the fetishization of a lot of things in this country, like the national anthem.
It's nationalistic. It's jingoistic in a lot of ways now. It's bad. Yeah. You're not supposed, like, the founding fathers would hate that we have so much like flag worship going on.
Exactly. And like, I mean, we've gotten to the point now where we have confused nationalism for patriotism.
Yeah.
Like, it's no longer acknowledging, like, you can't love your country but acknowledge its faults, because if you do that, then you hate America and you should leave. And that's the stupidest fucking thing ever. I
mean, to America, criticizing your government there's nothing more patriotic.
That's the whole point of the fucking First Amendment, is that the government can't tell you what you can say, so you're allowed to criticize it.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Exactly.
See here. The Patriots are divided.
Speaking of Patriots, can I read you the quote-unquote real statement from the Patriots?
Yes.
So this was put on ye old Twitter. This is a statement by Robert Kraft, Chairman and CEO of New England Patriots. Divisive words from those in power must not be ignored, accepted, or tolerated. They must be confronted forcefully in a very clear manner. If we remain silent, we are just as guilty as those who would destroy us. We must unite as one. The statements from the Atlanta Falcons, New York Giants, Miami Dolphins, and San Francisco 49ers disparaging our president, my president, are not condoned by this organization. Our president is smart, handsome, has a big dick, should have won an Emmy, and isn't fat. He loves America more than anyone else and defeated crooked Hillary Clinton by the largest margin in electoral college history. Any son of a bitch Patriots player that takes a knee during the national anthem will be fired.
Awesome. Too bad it's a lie.
Yes, and to clarify, that was fake, but I think it's real, and I will accept it as real.
Good. Good. So,
but go on.
So the Patriots are divided. our favorite human being, Tom Brady.
God amongst men.
Yes.
Adonis himself.
Shut up. Tom Brady stood hand over chest with his other arm locked with Philip Dorsett, Matthew Slater, David Harris, Dwayne Allen, Cassius Marsh. Before the Patriots game against the Texans at the end of that line, Marsh put his hand on the shoulder pad of Marquise Flowers. Meanwhile, about 20 players kneeled during the national anthem. Booing could be heard from the fans in the stands. Then they list the 20 players that kneeled. Long snapper Joe Cardona, currently on active duty in the U.S. Navy, stood at attention on the sideline during the national anthem. So I don't know what this arms locked thing means.
Some teams have been doing it. Like I think the Browns did it with the police. I think what they're attempting to do is show, because one big problem for the Browns last season was a couple of their players protested the Tamir Rice incident. Just outright murder. I'm just going to call it murder. And because of that, they were vilified by a lot of NFL fans and things like that as anti-police, things like that. So I think what that originated as was an attempt to show that no, we're not anti-police. We're just anti, things like the Tamir Rice shooting. So I'm thinking it's some facsimile of that to show solidarity with the Browns. I don't know if it's with the Browns or with the police or what, but I think that's what it's supposed to represent, is some form of solidarity. But I'm just speculating. I don't 100% know.
The Dolphins also locked arms as a team, including owner Stephen Ross, before Sunday's game against the Jets. 4 players also took a knee for the national anthem. So there's that. The Detroit Lions owner Martha Ford and her 3 daughters, who are usually long gone from the field by the time of the planned player introductions begin, remained on the sideline as Detroit's team was introduced and stood next to Coach Jim Caldwell with linked arms. Fans booed the Lions as they protested.
Well, fuck them.
8 players.
Not the Lions fans.
Yeah, 8 players, including Amir Abdullah, Tahir Whitehead, and most of the defensive line kneeled and linked arms. Eric Ebron stood alone, away from his teammates in the back. Anthem singer Rika Lavelle, at the end of the anthem, took a knee and raised his fist. Damn. Yeah.
There were some players in the 49ers that did last season, raised a fist instead of kneeled.
The dude who sang the anthem did that.
They did sang that. Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, nice. Very nice.
For the New Orleans Saints, running backs Adrian Peterson, Mark Ingram, and Alvin Kamara were among the top group of 10 players who sat on the bench during the national anthem for the first time.
No, hold a moment.
Yes.
Adrian Peterson plays for the Saints now?
Yes.
When did that happen?
The season.
When? My mind is blown. Anyway, continue.
No Saints had sat or knelt during the anthem before, although they did organize a team-wide display of unity and hand-holding with the Falcons after the anthem on a Monday Night Football game last season. Quarterback Drew Brees came out strongly last year, saying he disagreed with Colin Kaepernick's former protest, though he didn't disagree with his message. So that means nothing to me.
He can't protest. He's got a really tender neck,
Yeah, well, like I agree with your message, just not how you protested it. But can I
say that's my favorite thing about these anti-protest protesters? That makes sense. Is that they say they show things like footage of the riots and things, saying, "Oh, you shouldn't protest this way. You should protest peacefully," and then they get mad when you protest peacefully. You can't fucking have it both ways, people.
Yeah, just stop. Just say it like it is. I don't really agree with what you're saying.
I don't like your skin. I don't like your skin color. Please stop doing that. Making me feel bad is what their message should be. Anyway.
Just real quick, because there's a lot of teams. Falcons owner for the Atlanta Falcons, Falcons owner Arthur Blank stood on the sideline with arms locked with his team. Only 2 players took a knee. The Denver Broncos, 32 Broncos players knelt during the national anthem.
Very nice.
Including practice squad players.
Nice.
Both team captains Von Miller and Demaryius Thomas also took a knee. Tight end Virgil Green and linebacker Shaquille Barrett stood with a raised fist. But for the first time for the Giants, for the New York Giants, players kneeled. Let's see here. There's just a lot of it.
Which is good. I'm glad that there's actually more people really we have time to talk about because it means that there's a lot of protesting going on.
Yeah. To my knowledge, the Steelers never left the locker room.
Really? Wow. I will say though.
Several Steelers coaches were on the sideline, including Mike Tomlin, while the players remained in the locker room.
That's good. That's very good. I will say though, as I told you, OA, I am a little miffed about these protests in the sense of, well, maybe not miffed, but I don't know what the word I want to use. Like my attitude is like, come on, guys, come on, in the sense of, like, where are you people last year?
Yeah. I mean,
like, I mean, I understand it's become
this time because like they didn't want to get involved, and like, you know what, it's fine. Like some people, a lot of people would just prefer to keep the game. You know, like they're trying to, like they're not playing for that. They're just like here for the love of the game. They're here to get paid. They're here to do this, that. They're not here to protest. So they're trying to keep their, like, you know, their political lives and their like public lives separate, which is fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that.
But like the recent comments, I think just kind of took them to, like, beyond the pale. They're like, you know what, fuck this noise.
I guess I guess for me it's an issue of like, I mean, it's not like this shit is new. I understand it's maybe a little more in the limelight because, you know, someone like Trump is president and letting people with those kind of messages feel like they can speak out more. But at the same time, it's like, this shit isn't new. This isn't like this has just started happening the last 6 months. Like, this shit's been going on for a while. So
yeah.
Like I said, I'm very happy that a lot more people are protesting and seeing and really acknowledging what's going on. But at the same time, I'm like, come on, guys, come on. Then again, I mean, it's also, I don't necessarily think it's my place to speak on this kind of matter because I'm not someone who's really affected by this kind of stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. I do feel like I don't necessarily have the ability to speak on how they're protesting.
I mean, it's a tricky balancing act because they're should they be speaking out on this stuff? Like, is it their place? It's like, well, maybe yes or no. Like, because the other part of that is like, as people who have like a platform such as they do, like, do they have like a responsibility to use it? That's sort of what some people are thinking. You know, it's like, well, I have to do this because like I can, and other people can't for me. You know, like normally I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, and I do understand it's a balancing act. And as I said, I'm not, and someone who doesn't necessarily understand all the nuances because I'm not as affected by the kind of things that are happening as people like the players that are protesting are. It's tricky for me to really respond to how they're protesting.
Yeah.
But regardless, I am glad that they are doing it. I'm very glad that people that are in that position are taking the time to acknowledge what's going on and to say something about it.
I think, like we said at the top of the segment here, was that like protesting is American. That's just like what it is. Criticizing your government is American. It is as American as American can be. It is like 20 bald eagles fucking.
It's like, our country literally exists because a group of people protested their government.
Yes.
Like, come on, people. If these people went back in time and they saw the founding fathers protesting, they'd be like, "Come on, guys, you can't say that. It's not fair." Like really?
Can't say that, you guys.
Yeah, you should just. Oh, I guess you're anti-England then. Yeah, you're fucking right. I'm anti-England.
Yeah. I think it was the point.
But no, I'm glad that I'm glad that at least in terms of the way that the NFL is reacting. And one thing I will say is I've seen statements from a few CEOs, and in particular Jed York, who are in favor of and respect the protests that are going on, which I think is also really huge. Because NFL CEOs have a lot of power.
Yeah, there's one I can't remember what it was, but he was on ESPN earlier and he was talking about how like he introduced Trump during the campaign and supported him, and now he's like he's like pissed off because Trump is like, it's a stupid thing to say, but like, I didn't support this, like this wasn't my intention, and it's like now he's all pissed off.
That's better, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't.
I'm glad
really
you finally saw it, dude.
I don't know what else to do for him. Like
Yeah.
Like, really, bro? You didn't see this coming? Like, you feel blindsided? Like,
Like, the only thing I can respond, like, in terms of his reaction to Trump's actions is just, duh. Like,
dude. No fucking kidding, bro. Like, seriously.
I guess not to sidetrack too much, but my feeling on the former pro-Trump, now anti-Trump individual is very, very glad that you finally saw the light and that you realize what's going on and that you don't like Trump. But I'm going to make fun of you for supporting Trump in the first place. So live with that for a little while I make fun of you.
Yeah.
And then we can fix this thing with Trump.
It's just going to be the way it is.
Because you were going to have to put up some shit because of what's happened.
It is what it is.
Exactly. But I'm really glad to see that there are people like NFL owners who see what's going on and are saying, yeah, I respect what they're doing and I support their right to do it. Whether or not they agree with the message, I don't know. They haven't come out and said that. But the fact that they're like, no, they're allowed to do this and I'm not going to stop them, I'm happy with. Because at the very least, it's allowing them to have the platform they need and not have to face any retribution from people who employ them, which is the big thing for me. Because they could very easily just cut them from the team if they had a problem with them, I think.
Yeah.
And so they don't have to deal with that. I think helps at least it helps the message along because they're no longer worried about like I don't know if I should do this or not, which I think will help eventually get everyone in the NFL doing that.
Definitely. But it's a big platform to have, you know.
Just kind absolutely. But I think we've said all we can on this one.
Does that wrap it up for the Armageddon update?
I think so. I think it's a better note to leave on than we normally do.
Yeah, I think it's a little more up than normal.
Yeah,
usually we just leave it like, and that happened. Okay, don't know what we can do about that.
Our usual exit is just, well, there it is.
There's that.
But no, I'm kind of just summing up. I'm really happy with what's happening with the NFL, and I'm hoping that the players that aren't protesting are inspired to do so as well. And I would really like to see people stop shitting on Kaepernick.
Yeah, I mean, really, does he even play anymore?
Last I heard is I think the Dolphins might be interested in him.
Well, that's good. Good for them.
But I don't. Currently, he's not playing, as far as I know.
Like
at the same time, I don't even know if he wants to play anymore. I think he's more focused on activism at this point.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah,
He's been a better activist than he was a quarterback. Oh,
not true. I think he was good under Harbaugh, but I think it's just because of the schemes that Harbaugh ran. I think they were ideal for him, because he never seemed to me like a quarterback that could. That could adapt on the fly. Like I think if he had to be in particular schemes to be effective.
He was never like in college too. He was never like taught how to like run through a transition like receiver 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It was always just like receiver 1, oh crap, and then run. You know.
Yeah.
Like that's the way he was taught. So he never really. By the time he got to the league, like it was just too late. You can't. It takes too long to retrain.
Yeah. And especially with the fact that he got there and then no one tried to retrain him. They just
exactly. Like like okay, go ahead, do your thing, be good now.
But yeah, no. But I think and maybe I don't know. Maybe he's happy with being an activist. I don't know. But yeah, I think he's focusing on that right now. But I don't know if he's 100% out of the NFL. So we'll keep you posted on that, I guess. Kaepernick watch, I guess. But to transition to hopefully happier news. Let's take a gander into the nerd world with our knowledge check. Roll for initiative.
Roll for knowledge.
It's a DC 15.
All right, good job.
All right, so what's on the old agenda for knowledge check today, Jeff?
Well, I mean, for starters, we had the SNES Classic release yesterday, officially, and I did not get one.
You son of a bitch.
I likely will not be able to get one.
You son of a bitch.
We'll see. Nintendo swore up and down they made way, way more of this version. They did the Nintendo Classic, so maybe there'll be like a second wave. But like I think all of the first wave went away in pre-orders, all of it.
Likely, probably because of just the way that the NES Classic was handled.
Yeah, I mean, it's all gone. So there's that. Still want it. Also now considering just like emulating all the games and buying a controller for my computer. Anyway,
Probably going to be the easier option, TBH.
I just want to play Secret of Mana again. I'm sorry.
Hey, no need to no need to apologize to me, man. Also, I would like to take a quick side note to go back slightly to Armageddon News because I found a tweet I thought was kind of funny.
Okay.
So Bill Mitchell, who is a douchebag.
He's a douchebag.
Yeah, he's host of Your Voice America. He's a very big Trump supporter. He tweeted out, "What is more divisive than disrespecting our national anthem before the whole world?" To which Michael Jolette responded, "Police killing innocent people."
Easy.
Pretty easy answer.
Anything else? Want me to clear up anything else for you?
So yeah, I thought that was a pretty succinct, beautiful response to Bill Mitchell's very stupid question.
It's like this quote unquote disrespecting of the national anthem is like the highest order of like anger causing. This is beyond the pale. Like really, dude, this is where you're at. Like this is like
This is what you fall on your sword about.
I am so outraged about this in general. Like all the shit's been going on lately, you're like, nope, this is where I draw the line. They're not standing and holding their hands over their hearts for the national anthem.
Forgetting that our president had to be reminded to do that by his wife, who was an immigrant.
Yes.
There was I forget what it is, but there's some GIF, some video of Trump. I think he's at the White House. He's somewhere there, and they're playing the national anthem, and he's just kind of hanging out, standing there, and then his wife has to bump him to put his hand over his heart.
Like, hey, asshole. Oh, yeah.
So your fucking president couldn't remember to do that shit, dude.
Fucking prick. Well.
But anyway.
No NES Classics for us.
As of yet.
That's what I'm mad about.
Probably never, but as of yet.
This is not the kind of America I want to live in. We're kicking an SNES Classic.
I'll tell you what's more divisive than people not staying for the national anthem. Me not having an SNES Classic.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to keep sitting in the national anthem because I'm always sitting in the national anthem because I'm at home watching the game. But like, I'm going to keep sitting in the national anthem until I get me an SNES Classic.
I'm going to sit for different reasons, despite the fact that I'm sitting either way.
Yeah. Now it's going to be for like protest reasons till I get my Classic.
Exactly.
Damn it.
Nintendo, please send us a Classic.
Send us a Classic Nintendo. Hashtag sponsor. I'll even start saying good thing about the Wii.
I will use my Wii. That is how much I will support you, Nintendo. I will use my Wii.
I haven't actually liked Nintendo in quite some time.
I like Nintendo as a software developer because I like the Mario games and the Zelda games, things like that. Their hardware is.
I'm gonna say something that is probably gonna like cause more unrest than me not standing during the national anthem. But I'm not the biggest Zelda fan. I just don't get it. I just don't think it's that good. Like
that's fine. I mean, I could see why people would not like this. I mean, I love the Zelda series; it's one of my favorites. But I could see why people wouldn't like it as much.
It's just not my jam. I mean, like now they have Breath of the Wild, which seems like Zelda meets Skyrim. Like, okay, cool. Like that might make me interested, but I'm not going to buy a.
Well,
I'm not gonna.
I wouldn't buy a console for one game anyway, regardless.
No.
Unless it's Final Fantasy based, and I probably would.
Yeah. But that's what set me off. Like in tertiary geek news, in response to the SNES Classic coming out, Dorkly put out in their Today in Your History YouTube video series, which I really enjoy. You guys should check out. They did a poll of like the top 25 Super Nintendo games as voted upon by the people who went to the website to vote. And Final Fantasy 6/3, depending on who you're asking, was number 11. Wrong.
Yeah, I would say at bare minimum that's top 5.
Yeah,
no,
easily.
I would say bare minimum that's top 3.
Like so there's that. Earthbound got number 25.
Yeah, that's also way too low for that number for that game.
And of course, Legend of Zelda, which one was that? Link's Awakening got number 1. I'm like, what?
Link to the Past. Link's Awakening was a Game Boy
Past.
game.
Link to the Past. Like, what?
I mean, I love Link to the Past. It's one of my favorite games for the Super Nintendo, but it's definitely not better than Final Fantasy VI.
It's just like
Not even a little bit.
Like this is egregious. This is a terrible error.
That's I don't know. Maybe it's Final Fantasy backlash. I don't know.
I'm glad that you're sort of backing me up on this one because I get upset if Final Fantasy 6 isn't number 1 in like any list. I get really upset about that. So I'm glad.
We do disagree on the best Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
but it's a polite disagreement.
Yes. Because I also love 7, so it's like hard to
where would you rank 7 in your list of Final Fantasies?
No, it's number 2.
Yeah. See, and for me it's the opposite. 7 is my number 1 and 6 is my number 2. So I mean, there's still pretty high games for both of us.
And to be honest with you, I have a hard time figuring out what would be number 3. Final Fantasy Tactics. Let's go. I'll cheat.
See that I'm torn between Tactics and 10. I think I would say Tactics because I played the
10 I spent a lot of time on, but like the rose-colored glasses go off from me for 10 when I like listen to the voice acting.
Yeah.
And that plot, at least that plot was easy enough to follow. I mean, it was still wacky JRPG Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Which is sort of like Final Fantasy has changed, man. You've changed Final Fantasy. Like Final Fantasy 6 and 7, like it had its weird like bits, like concepts. Like 6 had the Espers and the Magi War and stuff like that, but it was explained and it made sense.
Yeah.
Like I could tell you about it. Final Fantasy 7 had like this. Had like the Spirit of the Earth and Mako and all that stuff.
And it starts off as this rebel group trying to save the planet, and it really goes from there. But it expands in a very a very fluid way that makes sense and doesn't feel weird and contrived.
It's a little weird when we talk about Zack being a clone of Cloud or not a clone of Cloud. It's all being very strange.
He's not a clone of Cloud. I could go into it, but that'll take me a while to explain.
Yes. But that does get complicated. Mm-hmm. Let's be real.
Oh yeah.
But then we get to like 10, and like there's like Sin and the evil spirits.
I will say I love 10. It is one of my favorite Final Fantasies, but calling the main boss Sin, little on the nose.
Little on the nose, guys. Could have tried harder there.
Actually, it might be a little in the nose with how on the nose it is.
But then we got to like fucking 13. Or was that 13? The one you played with Lightning? Is that 13?
Yes, that's 13. Well, it's part 1 of the 13
trilogy. Yeah, like I remember watching you play that game, and I still have no clue.
Like I mean I remember good parts of the plot. The problem I had with that game was I enjoy a film or a game not giving me tons of exposition. Not like here's like a 30-minute dialogue between two characters that literally explains everything you need to know rather than showing you. The problem with 13 is it took it to the extreme and started talking about stuff as though I was supposed to know what it was, but never explained any of it. It felt like the game dropped me in like a third of the way into where the game should have started, because there's so much backstory I didn't know that I felt like I should have known. And like there are games out there that do something like the Dark Souls series really explains nothing to you when you're playing it.
No, yeah.
But you can get all the backstory and all the information you need by reading through item descriptions and talking to certain characters. 13 didn't really have any of that.
Yeah.
And that's the big I think that was one of the reasons I rate it lower. Like I enjoyed the game as a whole. I like the characters, I like the combat system. Overall, graphically the game was gorgeous, I thought. But for me, the story was a little lacking, and because there's certain parts that really weren't explained at all, it really made it hard to get into the game as much as it did for other Final Fantasies. Mm-hmm. I haven't played through 13.2 all the way. I haven't played 13.3 yet, so I don't know if there's things to expand on with that. They started doing that with Final Fantasy X with 10.2.
Yeah,
which it was a fine game. Game you didn't really play with your pants on. Put it that way.
Oh.
I was torn about 10 too, because I like the idea of a sequel to a game like that, because just because like there are some Final Fantasies like I really love those characters, and I want to see them do more stuff and have other adventures.
Mm-hmm.
But 10-2 I felt was just, I don't know, it was weird, and the story was kind of meh, and I wasn't really a huge fan of it. It was a fun game. I enjoyed it, but definitely one of my lower ranked Final Fantasies.
I mean,
but yeah, that was the problem I had with 13. Is just there's so much backstory that wasn't explained that I needed explained to me to understand parts of the game and what was going on.
again, that was the biggest problem with 15 as well. In that it was just very like you had to watch the you had to watch like all the anime series and like the movie that came out ahead of time to really kind of understand what was going on.
But even
and I did it backwards. So like that that made more sense to me later. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, all right, there we go, there it is. Okay.
But even with that, I'm okay with that, because in the sense that they still give you something that tells you what's going on. 13 never did that at all.
Yeah. No.
But no, I would prefer that to be in game. Mm-hmm. But at the very least, it exists. It exists in some capacity. But yeah, I don't know why they did that outside of the game like that.
I
to push sales of it, I guess. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. I mean, it's all kind of all over the place. Mm-hmm. And I haven't actually picked up the game since I beat it, and now all the DLC is out, and they're about to release the multiplayer patch.
Oh man, I gotta get that game then.
So there's that. I'm not a huge fan of the fighting system. I don't really understand why the gaming community is touting it as like, oh, this is amazing. It's like fluid and more fun to do, and oh my god. I'm like, it's not tactical in the slightest. All I do is just hold down the circle button. That is it. That is fighting in Final Fantasy 15. I hold down that circle button, and then if I take too much damage, I take a potion because there's no healing skills. That's it.
I haven't played it, so I can't give it a yay or an A. So.
It's very pretty. I like flying in the car later. Spoilers. That's just I don't know.
Well, when I do play the game, I can give you my opinion on the battle system as well.
I just miss like there's so much complexity in a real-time battle turn-based system.
Yeah, but that's never going to come back.
And now it's just been replaced by holding down circle. Like
that's never going to come back though.
What? In the game where it's like, oh, this is great. It's like, why? Why is this great? This is boring. There's almost zero input from me. Anyway, was there other stuff we wanted to cover? I feel like we've got on this tape.
I think we've. I mean, we got the basic of the SNES out, SNES Classic out. It's out. We're probably not going to get it. Boo.
Yes. Boo.
Boo-hoo us. Boo. 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 But there was in other gaming related things. There was an article I wanted to talk a little bit about. Excuse me. So there's a game that came out fairly recently. It came out. I want to say it came out late last month, early this month. So it's been out for less than a month. It's called Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I can't really go too much into the plot because I haven't played it yet and haven't really found a concise explanation of the plot.
Senua's Sacrifice.
But from what I gather, it's essentially you're playing a 9th century Celtic warrior who has some form of psychosis that causes her hallucinations to become reality for her. So, like, you know, you're walking down a forest or road or something, and you have a hallucination and you have to fight it. However, no one else around you would see it because only you're seeing it, but it's real to you, kind of thing. So it's an interesting plot, and from what I gather, the creators of the game try to do a ton of research into mental illness and how people live with it and how they react to it, things like that, so they could get a really authentic representation for this character, which I'm totally excited about. I like the games are trying to expand to give people, give them some form of identity in the characters you're playing with things that you normally wouldn't see. Like 10 years ago, you would never see a character who had some kind of psychosis that wasn't like in a mental hospital in a straitjacket, screaming a ton kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So now you're having these characters who are like living, breathing people in their world who happen to have some kind of they're no longer defined by their mental illness, basically. But this author wrote an article, called "What Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice Gets Wrong About Mental Illness," and I have a very big problem with this article because it has a huge contradiction in itself. On one hand, the author says, "This game does not represent mental illness as I see it." On the other hand, the author says, "No two people experience mental illness the same way." How do those two thoughts coincide in the same article? You can't say, "Well, I don't see. This is not how I see it," but at the same time say, "Well, no two people see it the same way." Maybe that's because the way her psychosis is depicted is not how you see it. Like, I don't understand how you had those two thoughts separately. At no point were like, "Oh, wait, maybe this doesn't make. Well, I should rethink that maybe." Like, and that makes me so mad. And there's a quote they put at the beginning from one of the characters that she runs into. His name is Dillian. And his quote says, "Would you give up the beautiful world that you and only you can see just to be rid of your nightmares?" And then at some point, the author talks about how that kind of thing, it puts a negative light on mental illness in the sense of like it talking about like removing a piece for yourself. And as someone who suffers from a pretty severe depression, I would give up so many fucking things if I didn't have to fucking deal with this. If I could get out of the prison that depression has turned my mind into, I would be the happiest person on fucking earth. Mm-hmm. So it's single things like that is always really upsetting to me because I'm one of the people that suffers from some form of mental illness with depression, but I refuse to see it as like this badge of honor. Like I don't feel like honorable, or I don't feel that there's a great there's no great honor in having this. Like it doesn't make me a better person. It doesn't make me. I mean, I try not to let it define who I am, but it obviously does to some degree. But it doesn't. There's. I don't feel great about having this thing. I hate having this thing. I would like to not have this thing.
I feel like anybody who has that any kind of condition is more empathetic to others who are suffering.
Oh, absolutely. I would
say that's a positive.
Absolutely.
Like the completely healthy tend to not be as empathetic to those who aren't. I don't know.
Well, I get that, and I agree to some point, but at the same time, it's like, but then that's to say, like, does that mean that people who don't have mental illnesses are not can't be as empathetic? I think, it like a lot of it is your upbringing. Even if you don't suffer from things like I know people who don't suffer from any kind of mental illness of any kind. Like they don't have depression, they don't, but they're not bipolar. They're, for lack of a better term, they're just normal people. And they're, as empathetic as anyone else I know because, of the upbringing they have. So I agree that, you don't have to have these, that having these things can make you more empathetic, but it definitely isn't the only thing that can help you make you more empathetic to people who do suffer from those things. But it just, the way that this article is written, it's trying too hard. Part of the problem is like, too, they're saying like this is, they make it sound like it's doing a disservice to people with mental illness. It's like, They research their asses off trying to get this right. This is the only game I'm aware of that actually does address mental illness in this kind of way. Like, to say that this does nothing, I think really does a huge disservice to the game and the creators of the game for trying so hard.
Yeah, it's so quick and easy to dismiss it.
Exactly.
So this is not how I view mental illness. It's like, what? Like,
exactly. Like, yeah.
How do you make a game then that talks about it? Like,
exactly. And like
your character didn't get out of bed today. Spend the next 12 hours watching your character stay in their room in the dark.
Yeah, I played a game. I really hesitate to call it a game, but I played a game called Depression Quest, which is you're playing as a character who lives with depression, and your actions throughout the game determine how badly your depression affects you, which I think is pretty accurate. I would say, as someone who suffers from it, to how depression can affect you throughout the day. But the problem with that was it basically boiled depression down to like, I'm just feeling real bummed today. Oh, it's raining. I'm feeling sad. Oh, like that's what it basically boiled depression down to. And as someone who suffers from it, I was so infuriated by that because it boiled down my illness to nothing at that point.
It would be such a difficult concept to put forth in that platform, in any platform. Like, how do you portray mental illness in any art form?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's just like, wow, like that's a pretty daunting task,
Exactly. Especially if you're trying to do it in a way that is authentic and doesn't do anything to lessen the characters in the game that suffer from it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in this game, you're a character who's going around like killing things with a fucking sword. I would say that character's pretty fucking powerful and still suffers from mental illness.
Yeah.
But it's just it makes me feel like that there's just obviously I know this is true. There are people out there who just they're never going to be happy with the way certain things are depicted. But I will take a company that tries their hardest to get it right and fucks up a little bit than a company who didn't try at all and maybe got it more right than others. I would rather a company actually try to figure it out right and do it properly. And like and there's this one quote in the article. I don't want to dwell too much longer on this because I think I've more or less said my piece. But there's one quote they talk about saying, there's a saying in the autistic community, if you've met one person with autism, then you've met one person with autism. That's exactly what this game is. You've met one person with this mental illness. The game literally is not trying to say this is every person with this mental illness.
Yeah.
If this mental illness, if you
that'd be stupid.
Exactly. If you see this character and this character doesn't connect with you exactly because their mental illness isn't the way that you see it, it's probably because it's this one person with this mental illness. It's not everybody. So, yeah. But I will say this about the game, not about the mental illness part. I said my piece about that. One thing I liked about this game, which also makes me really want to play it, is that apparently if you die too many times, the game just deletes your save.
Wow.
Yeah.
Harsh.
So
that's depressing right there.
Right? So I'm really curious to how that mechanic works and like how they determine if you've died too often. I guess what it is
like frequency, like like, oh nope, that was 10 deaths, you're done.
Yeah, like do you have to have X amount of deaths in a certain time or just overall? Yeah. But I guess the way it works is like your character has this. I think there's something in them called the rot, and it's like basically like it starts in their hand and like works their way up the arm. So I guess if it gets to your brain, that's what kills you and deletes your save. But I don't. Yeah, but I'd like to figure out like what's the frequency that moves that up your arm.
Yeah, really.
So yeah, very cool concept. I would like to see more games implement that. I wouldn't say this is perfect, like I said, depending on the frequency. But I think it's a pretty awesome thing that definitely makes you think about the way you're playing the game. But yeah. But that's pretty much my beef with that is like I understand where you're coming from, but I really think you need to rethink the way you've written this article.
It sounds interesting. What platform is it coming out
on? Let's see. I know it came out on Steam. I think it also came out on the PS4. Let's take a quick gander.
It's called what again?
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Its name spelled S-N.
Needs a much better name. Needs a much better name.
Well, the character's name is Senua. It's Senua. It came out on PS4 and Steam.
Worth looking into.
Definitely. It came out August 8th, so it's been out for about a month and a half. And it's done by Ninja Theory, who are the people who did, they did Heavenly Sword. I think they did the newest DMC, Devil May Cry. I believe that was them. But yeah, I like their stuff, so I think I would dig this game too, especially from a mechanic standpoint. But yeah, so that was that thing.
That was that thing.
But to go from there, we did have a thing we wanted to talk about. A lovely little soccer match of sorts.
Yes.
Now I'm still baffled by a lot of this, so I'll let you take this one, Jeff.
Well, honestly, I don't actually have a lot to say because there's not a lot of information available. There's this movie called Soccer Killer, and this is the Wikipedia article for Soccer Killer. Soccer Killer is a 2017 Chinese comedy film directed by Jeffrey Lau and starring He Zhang, Gillian Chung, Charlene Choi, Joy Young, and Patrick Tam. Mm-hmm. Then it lists the cast, and then it said principal photography started on April 8, 2014, and wrapped up in May 2014. Mm-hmm. So that's it. That is all the information that Wikipedia has on this movie. But from what I've seen, because you can watch it all online now, it's free to watch online.
I watched it on Facebook.
Did you watch it all? I didn't see the whole thing. I also haven't found a sub for it yet.
Well, I think what I saw was a trailer because it's only like about 4 minutes long.
Yeah, I've seen trailers and clips but from what I can piece together, here's a summary from IMDb. So in the Song Dynasty, a group of patriots play soccer against the traitor with a team of foreign enemies, royal pro nobles, bandits, martial arts masters, and embrace the country hatred to compete for the first time in the history of China international soccer match. That's an awful summary.
That is really bad.
Doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry I read that to anybody. Okay, so
I'm offended you read it to me.
basically, it takes place during the Song Dynasty, where a group of that's important to say patriotic, because I believe this is all about East versus West action, are playing soccer against a team of foreign enemies. These foreign enemies just so happen to be like really obvious but bad knockoffs of like American superheroes.
Nice.
Like it's amazing. There's the Incredible Hulk is here. Captain America is here. He looks like a zombie.
I wouldn't call him the Incredible Hulk. He's a
green guy.
He's a passable Hulk.
Yeah, he is green. What else? I saw Storm.
Oh wow! I think I missed her.
She was there. Here's an image. Spider-Man is there.
Wow.
Thor is there. Wolverine is in tow. Logan, like he's definitely like Logan Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
It's and Cyclops was there. Only he has to lift his visor to shoot his laser beams.
What?
Yes.
That is all like, kinds of wrong.
So it's like Shaolin soccer, right? Meets like, but the soccer ball is like a big spiky metal thing that like
like there's one scene in the trailer like a dude gets hit in the chest with it and it starts like bleeding out of his mouth.
Yeah. But it definitely would appear to be almost entirely about like East versus West, but what I found really interesting about it is that it once again shows that China does not give a shit about Western copyrights.
Nope.
They do not care.
Not even a little bit.
Not in the slightest. They will do what they want to do. It's just the way it is.
It's fucking amazing some of the things I've seen come out of China.
Oh my god! Well, my favorite like copyright thing in China was a couple years back. Top Gear, before when it was still good. Top Gear
when it was actually Top Gear.
Yes, did a sequence on it where they like went to China to see these cars that were built in China, but they were obvious like carbon copies of like actual like other cars from around the world. Like there was like a Mercedes SUV and stuff like that. And for example, that Mercedes the Mercedes went to the Chinese courts to demand that their copyright be honored, and the Chinese judge just goes like, "This looks nothing like your car." Case dismissed.
That is beautiful.
This is an exact replica, like exactly down. Oh my god, it's just like a deep ass Mercedes. So they don't care.
No, they do not give a shit. And I find that funny, to be honest. Oh man, it's
I just don't know. I have to watch it, but I want to wait for the internet to subtitle it for me.
Yes, I would like that too, because I actually like to know what they're saying to me.
Yes, I want to watch this Soccer Killer subtitles.
It really does look amazing.
Let's see here. I'm worried about these things like GoStreams.me and Go Movies Online and stuff like that.
Like definitely not a virus.com.
Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna be tricky. I'm gonna hold off until I have places where I can get movies. Where
I can quote unquote buy them on the internet.
I can buy them on the internet, and I'll report back. I will not buy this. I will gladly pirate it because they clearly pirated that.
Oh, absolutely. So they couldn't even put like an actual Incredible Hulk in it. It's a passable Hulk.
that's Kenny's sticking point. This is just all wrong.
I'm just saying he's not that incredible. He's all right at best.
He's incredible, and they're not in the slightest. This is outrageous.
Oh my god,
he's just ridiculous.
You know what I think we should do? When this comes out, we should do a commentary.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That should be one of the next commentaries we do. Is this film? I guess technically
a film. It's a movie.
It was filmed. Put it that way.
Yes. I mean, it looks hilarious. So
It does. It looks fucking hilarious. Absolutely. But it's so fucking...
Yeah.
It's so weird. But 10 out of 10. Would watch again.
There you go. What else we have in the knowledge check? I've been playing XCOM War of the Chosen.
V-nice.
Which is a massive overhaul of the of XCOM 2. Like completely changes the game and the story of the game and the mechanics of the game, like in such a way that I tried playing it and I put like 3 hours into it, 4 hours maybe. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I put like 12 hours into it, and
I put like 20, 30, 17 hours.
I didn't have anything to do yesterday, so I put like that much time into it, and I was doing awful. It's like way harder because there's so much going on. There's so much more complexities to it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I just don't really have. I don't think we have the time to go into right now. So I restarted today, and I'm doing much better this time. Now that I've sort of like learned the error of my ways and how it all. That's usually how it goes with XCOM games for me. Like I have to do one game, and then I learn all those things I fucked up on, and okay, I know how this works now. Like
I have noticed that with a lot of games I like, because I always have to do like that one playthrough, like just to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And then I can have the actual playthrough.
So, long story short, if you play XCOM and you've played XCOM 2, get War for the Chosen. You will love it. You will love it in the way that you love XCOM, because it is. I have never played a game so much that like I get so angry about, but like. Like, really? 90% chance, bro? 90% chance, and he's flanked, and you're gonna miss? You piece of shit. I hope you die in the next turn. Oh no, please don't die in the next turn. I don't have a good sharpshooter. Ah!
It makes me so mad sometimes when that kind of thing happens.
It's just,
You gotta fucking be kidding me.
it is really beautiful. You have XCOM 1, Kenny. I'm gonna call you to the carpet. You have to play it now.
You're
have to play it.
gonna what?
I'm calling you out, boy. Calling you to the carpet.
Why are you calling me out?
Because you gotta play it.
Why,
you haven't played it yet.
Why you gotta be like that?
Because I am passionate, Kenny, and I want you to play it.
Why you gotta be like that, bro?
Because we tried playing multiplayer once, and I stomped you.
Well, yeah, because you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, no, that's why it was funny.
I'm just saying, if I knew what I was doing, you might not have.
I think we were drinking at the time, too.
Yes, I think we were very drunk. I'm gonna go to limb and say I'm like 90% sure we were very drunk.
There's
yes,
that.
I will hop in. I will hop in that game again.
Good.
But I think that's it for knowledge check.
I think we've covered it.
I think so.
Star Trek Discovery Episode 1 airs tonight. Remember, the first 2 tastes are free, and then it goes to their stupid web platform, so there's that.
That's how they get you. So check that out if you're a Star Trek fan. I'll have to check that out at some point.
I'll be watching it tonight.
Word.
I'm actually excited about the series, but I don't think it's going to last very long, so there's that.
Why is that?
We've already talked about it before, though.
Oh, yeah, that's right, we did. Well, I don't think of any other cool stuff to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
No big Steam sale going on. So I think I'm going to we're gonna move on from knowledge check to quite a fun category we talk about in what the fuck news.
What the fuck news?
What the fuck news? What the fuck? So I found a thing I thought was interesting to talk about. There it is. So you're a fan of coffee, Jeff, I imagine.
Oh yeah,
like yourself a nice cup of Joe here and there. Well, sad news, Jeff. Apparently, Death Wish cold brew coffee has been recalled for potentially being deadly. Now,
oh no!
Now, I know what you're thinking.
Shocking.
You're thinking, well, it's hyper caffeinated. Of course, it's going to be recalled. Nope, that's not why it's being recalled.
Oh.
It's being recalled because a lab found traces of botulism in the cans.
Oh, bummer. I was gonna say, well, this is called Death Wish. Like, let's be real.
It does normal Death Wish. Okay, so a normal cup of coffee has 59 milligrams of caffeine per fluid ounce, or about 472 per cup. Death Wish, I believe. Let me just double check my figures here, because I believe I remember the number, but I don't want to mislead the audience. Let's see.
You can always tell when you're doing internet research.
I am doing internet research.
Because you're like,
that's me internet researching.
It's like, no, that is not an earthquake. That's making New Hampshire crack apart at the seams. That is
I
getting.
would love that to happen. So a normal cup of coffee. Let's see what I have. It has about 472 milligrams of caffeine per cup. A cup of Death Wish coffee has 728 milligrams per cup. So yes, it's not being recalled because of potential overcaffeination issues, but because I'm sorry, not botulism. It's a Clostridium botulinum. Maybe it might be a strain of botulism. Oh, it is a strain of botulism.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like a strain of botulism.
Oh, yeah. The way it was written, they were using the scientific name for most of it, but no, it is a strain of botulism. So yeah, that's what could kill you. But apparently, it's only the cold brew. So if you drink the regular, you're A-okay.
Okay.
So just stay away from the cold brew until they give you the A-okay.
Well, there's that.
So yeah, so I thought that was a nice thing to talk about.
What the fuck?
In other what the fuck news, Lion's Choice, which I don't know what this is. It's some kind of meat truck, as far as I can tell. Maybe supermarket. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not. Oh, it's a restaurant. It's a restaurant. It's like a fast food restaurant, I think. They're hitting the streets in St. Louis with a new truck to bring food to the masses.
I see.
And they're calling this truck the Lean Roast Beef Machine.
The Lean Roast Beef Machine?
Yep.
I'm kind of hungry.
It says here, the truck will be serving the local chain's roast beef sandwiches, natural cut fries, and, in quotes, flavor burst custard.
Ooh.
Which really makes me worry a little bit.
I don't think anything should be referred to as a flavor burst.
Especially in a custard form.
Yes.
But yeah, so if you live in the St. Louis area, keep on lookout for the Lean Roast Beef Machine. You'll know.
Make sure to avoid.
You'll know it's the right truck because it's a black truck with a big lion face painted on it.
Nice. The flavor burst just like makes me think of when I realized as an adult that I used to eat a snack candy called Gushers.
Oh fuck yeah, Gushers. Yeah, but calling it like a burst, like it leaves an image in my mind like I'm eating something and then something explodes in my mouth that wasn't supposed to be there, and it kind of makes me worried. But yeah, keep a lookout for that truck. And sad news, Jeff. Sad news.
Yes.
In other what the fuck related news, the world ended yesterday apparently.
Oh.
Yeah, according to
nice to know.
Yep. Let's see, according to Christian numerologist David Mead, the world was supposed to end on September 23rd. So we're doing this from the afterlife.
Sweet.
Yep.
Good job, team.
I for one, I'm glad that the world has finally ended because man, living was a pain in the ass. Let me tell you.
Oh God. Ugh.
I was not a fan. Not a fan.
Not a fan. So you mean another biblical numerologist was wrong about the end of the world?
It's not just another biblical numerologist. There are dozens of them. Go on YouTube and just type in Christian numerology. And I guarantee you, any video you find is going to mention September 23rd at some point. I don't know why that date became like the Christian numerology date, but somehow they can find verses in the Bible that translate to the world ending on September 23rd. I don't fucking get it. I don't understand any of it, but that's the way it works apparently.
Yep. They just use math to determine stuff.
And there's a numerologist on Facebook, Twitter, excuse me. He goes by I think he's called himself Gary the Numbers Guy. I think that's what he goes by. I'm internet researching. I'm just gonna talk loudly, so please don't worry too much about the noise I'm making. Hold on, I'm gonna find this guy's Twitter. But he is like, I mean, he's stupid, because he's also like a hyper Trump supporter, but like he is constantly like tweeting numerology bullshit about how like which sports teams are going to win, and when certain events are going to happen, and if you're born in this year, it's a good year for you because it's a monkey year, and that's a good thing. Oh, here's a good tweet he put out he put out about 12 hours ago. No, 24 hours ago. 23rd is almost over. We still alive. Can't be. This must be a dream. The Christian numerologist couldn't have been wrong. #rapture. Meanwhile, half of this is in caps and half of it isn't, and there's a lot of weird formatting things. So let's dive further into where he's gone. Someone called him a Freemason puppet, which is funny.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. He said, American bomber flying around in Korea, Sep 28th in 5 days. I'm assuming he means something's going to happen in 5 days? 4 days now, technically?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. One good thing is after World War III starts, we'll put #numerology on the map. In all caps. Might turn out to be the most accurate prediction in world history. Now, I'm not an expert in numerology, as you might imagine. But I'm pretty sure his whole shtick has been that numerology's on the map. So I'm not sure why it suddenly would be on the map after World War III. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that if World War III happens, numerology is going to be one of the first things to go.
Yeah, I mean, once again, not a priority.
Nope.
I remember back in the day, Glenn Beck was telling everyone, he says, if you really love your family members, you'll buy them silver because when the world ends, because of Obama, it'll be more valuable than money, because money won't mean anything. And I'm like, no, dude, the world ends. What I'm going to need is guns, ammunition, food, and water, and shelter. Those are going to be the valuable things.
I'm going to need as much TP as I can find and a whole shitload of wet wipes. Because there ain't going to be no running water in the apocalypse, so I'm going to need to keep clean somehow. Yeah, why the fuck would I need gold and silver? What am I going to do with that? I don't understand. I do not understand people who think that way. And the last thing I'll read from this Gary the Numbers guy. Lost 27 followers today. Translation: I tweeted a lot truth. By the way, a lot is one word.
A lot truth.
A lot truth. #GG33.
Nailed it.
Apparently, the number 33 is somehow the most profound of numbers. I don't understand.
Yeah, who knows why?
Oh no, I have one more I should read.
Okay.
He tweeted this. He tweeted this yesterday. 1700 or 1900, or 1700, 1900, or the year 2017. Nothing changes. In all caps. The black man is the Zionist pet. The white man is the Zionist bitch.
What the fuck is this shit?
Oh no, I have one more I need to read.
The hashtag is not going to catch on, I think.
Nope. 3 fingers on my left hand are broke. The police did this to me. Should I go around screaming #White Lives Matter because this happened to me? I guess one finger looks broken. It looks like his hands is really fucked up. Also, he has liver spots, which is a little concerning.
What did you do that the cops had to break your fingers?
Yeah, and and only your fingers. I'm pretty sure if they beat you, you'd have more than just a few broken fingers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's if I guess the message I'm trying to put out here is if you feel like getting into numerology, this is you. This is how I'm going to see you.
Just don't do it.
And I'm going to make so much fun of you. He was I think he said the Cavs were going to win the championship. He said that I think every year the Warriors play the Cavs in the championship, the Cavs are going to win. So he's 1 for 3. 33%. Whoa. Maybe he's onto something. He was right 33% of the time. Anyway, that's numerology. So don't do it, kids. Is the message I'm trying to get out. Don't be that guy.
So last episode, I think we covered flat earthers.
Fat earthers or flat earthers?
Flat earthers.
Oh yes, I think we did.
So this episode we're covering numerology.
Yes, I think based on that, we should talk about have a conspiracy of the week.
Conspiracy of the week.
Yeah, just to make fun of.
Okay, that sounds fair.
Because I think we could have a lot of fun with that.
I'd be on board with that.
Sweet. Speaking of conspiracy theories, we did mention in our OA stuff talking about the climate change hoax.
Yes.
Yes. I don't remember if that was specifically about Trump or something else.
I think it was just like people. Well, we've had like Armageddon style hurricanes, like back to back.
Yeah, 3 Category 5s in the Gulf in like the same time.
Yeah, all at once.
Thank God. Thank God global warming.
Yeah, climate change doesn't exist, Gil.
Nope.
Not real.
Nope.
That was it. That was all I think we wanted to say.
Yeah. I think that's a good message to go out on. Is talking about that global warming isn't real. Now I know I'm sweating right now, and it's very humid. Almost in October. That's just coincidence.
It's just coincidence.
Yeah, that's just stuff happens. So don't worry about climate change. It's not real.
Not real, guys.
Nope, not even a little bit. But yeah, on that note, I think that's all she wrote.
That's all we got.
So it's a good jam-packed episode, I would say.
I think so. I think we did good.
I think we had a fun time.
Sorry, it was longer than normal, folks. It's just we've been away for a while.
Well,
then we wanted to start out on Friday, and like we had technical difficulties.
Mm-hmm. And we ended up finding more stuff to talk about between.
Yeah, and then stuff happened. Stuff
happened. Oh, apparently Tom Brady came up clutching at the Texans. It's the fucking Texans. I don't ooh, he had fourth quarter match against the Texans. It's the same thing as like, hey, he beat up that crippled kid. Like, I don't.
Aww.
Yes, I'm saying that the Texans are the crippled kid of the NFL. Too soon? Too much? I don't. Well, should I edit that one out? Anyway, yes, thanks for joining, fam. Glad to have you, and I hope you tune in for the next episode. And
yes.
On that note, what I think you should do, listening audience, is in the comments put the conspiracy theory we should talk about next. Let's do it. Fucking do it.
Do it.
But yes, on that note, as always, thank you once again for tuning in and subscribing and liking us and just having a ding-dang of a time listening to a better podcast.
A good ding-dang all the time.
A ding-dang of a hoedown. Yes, thank you once again for tuning in. I hope you tune in for the next episode of A Better Podcast with Kenny and Jeff. And we are Audi 5000.